All right, now we will start. Okay, surely. So yes, so these are the things that we will cover. First is the sapling dialogue 2026. What is this? Again, it is a short form of something. We will see that. What are the provisions in this? Second is the Bhavya portal. This Bhavya portal is basically an audyogik portal. Audyogik means related to industry. Okay. Then you have sustainability bonds. Okay, you might have not given the prelims this year, but have you gone through the paper? Sustainability bonds related question was there in that. Okay, so sustainability bond again is a news, so we will see what it is, how it is different from, let's say, green bonds, let's say social bonds, how they are different from each other, and in general I will also tell you about the bonds in general. Okay. Then next is 114th International Labour Conference. This is basically conducted by ILO, that is International Labour Organization. Whoever are the members, they do participate in that, and in that these different countries and their representatives basically come and they tell as to what they have done with respect to the labour reforms. So our representative have also gone there. They have also said that we have consolidated the 29 labour codes into 4 labour codes, which has made it easier, swifter, this, that. So they have said all that, so we will look into that. We will also look into still what challenges remain with respect to the labour laws in India, and I will also give you a bit of insight with respect to those 4 laws, how good or not so good they are. Okay? Then you have the credit guarantee scheme for microfinance institutions. Credit guarantee scheme. You are not giving the credit directly, but you are going to give the credit guarantee, like the Exim Bank also gives the credit guarantee for the people who want to take loan. They will become a guarantor so that banks can give loan to them. So this is a bit of factual thing. So some of the important macroeconomic data you can remember. We'll see that. So first about sapling. Now important here is to remember that your World Bank is involved over here. World Bank and Ministry of Food Processing Industry, that is MOSPI, sorry not MOSPI, MOFPI, Ministry of Food Processing Industry plus World Bank together are basically having this sapling dialogue 2026. Another fact, so this is the most important fact for your prelims. They may also ask where it was held. So this is Ahmedabad, Gujarat, but this is more important. What was it? It was a 2-day regional high level policy dialogue. That is not as such required, but it's a high level, fair enough. Important thing here is what is the theme. So in news like this, wherein a dialogue or maybe a particular day was celebrated, so World Environment Day, Earth Day, this day, that day, they have themes at times. So it's very important for you to remember the themes. Now in 2025 what happened is, whatever the theme was there, UPSC changed just the last word, kept everything else as the same. So that was too much factual. So now that does not mean you try to memorize and mug up each and every word, but still they can still ask that way, but I hope they don't. So you should remember the theme. Theme is unlocking value. Now unlocking value means, when you're talking about unlocking value in agriculture sector, that means you're talking about processing. You're talking about processing. By processing you can unlock the value. That is happening with makhana, which is produced in Bihar. Makhana produced in Bihar used to get exported to other states of the country, right, without further processing. So Bihar used to not earn much profit out of it. Now in last year's budget, Makhana board was established. Not this year, last year's budget, Makhana board was established. Under that board, what is happening is the processing and all of Makhana is taking place, now going to take place in the state of Bihar only, where Makhana is produced. So new industries, fruit processing units will come wherein these processing is done there, so that the value increases, so that Bihar can earn more value. A simple thing is, you are selling loose makhanas, right, 100 rupees, 100 grams. If you make, add some piri piri powder, this, that, chili flakes and all, you can sell it for 200 rupees also. Or for 100 rupees, 30 grams is what you can sell. So that is what value addition is. So unlocking the potential through the food processing. So unlocking potential, advancing food processing for employment generation, sustainable growth, in South Asia. So being India, why are we talking about South Asia? It is being done in collaboration with World Bank. World Bank is basically focusing on South Asia. India is one such country in South Asia. So this is the entire overview of this sapling dialogue. Okay? Now, what is sapling? So full form, you should know what is sapling. South Asian Policy Leadership for Improved Nutrition and Growth. South Asian Policy Leadership for Improved Nutrition and Growth. Now UPSC may not ask the answer of the acronym. What they can ask is, sapling dialogue was related to which of the following? And then they will give you 4 options. One of the option will be related to the development of organic seeds. So you may relate sapling with the seeds. Seed give rise to saplings and then the crops are formed. So avoid that, that will be incorrect. So what you should know is the correct answer is going to be this policy, which has a theme of this, which is unlocking the value over the agricultural produce. Okay? Multi-stakeholder platform means multiple stakeholders are there. Our ministry is involved, other countries are involved, their ministries and representatives will be involved. In addition to this, World Bank Group is involved. Any project which is sponsored by World Bank, involves World Bank or any other international organization, you have to remember their name. Okay? Then focuses on policy reforms, investment mobilization, agri-tech scaling. Agri-tech scaling means increasing the involvement of technology in agriculture. Because another thing that they are talking about is they also want to reduce the wastages that are there in the agriculture sector. The highest amount of wastages are there in fruits and vegetables. So technology, you have better sorting technologies, you have better storage facilities, right? Cold storage facilities, all these things can also reduce your wastages. Reducing wastages is basically increasing the value. Increasing the value is basically doubling farmers' income, and all those things for mains related answers, you can write all those things. Okay? Yes. Next, the strategic synergy agri connect. So there is another program of World Bank known as the Agri Connect initiative. So this program is in sync with that Agri Connect initiative. That is one thing. Generally, I'll give you a hint now. Generally now, whatever plans do come or whatever schemes they come, they are interlinked or they help each other out. Sometimes the criteria might be interlinked, especially in the agricultural sector. For example, the insurance scheme. So let's say the Kisan credit card, which we are talking about in today's class. So Kisan credit card, under Kisan credit card, you will get loans as a farmer, non-mortgage loans, but you will get loan only if you are enrolled for Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. If you are enrolled for soil health card, then only you will get. So what is happening? The schemes are getting linked with each other. Okay? And that is very logical. For your mains, remember, that is very logical. Why it's logical? I am being given a loan which I have to repay. It's a non-mortgage loan. The agriculture is uncertain. So there is a possibility I may not make money. So if I am registered under Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana and the crops fail, I can get the insurance money, I can pay off the loan as well. That is the idea. Okay. Goal is to reach 30 crore farmers. That is all over South Asia, not just in India. All over South Asia, the goal is to reach 30 crore farmers by 2030. Okay. Generally, the timeline is for 5 years, so you can remember that as well. Because this year the question was asked with respect to the year also. A particular scheme has been extended till 2031. That was a question in which they asked the specific year as well. Okay. Next. So this is the goal. Approach. If you talk about approach, infrastructure upgradation, policy improvement, these are generic things. These are basically your main points. Infrastructure upgrade is very important point, because for food processing, for stopping the wastages, infrastructure is very important. That's why this is the first point. Enhance agricultural connectivity and efficiency. So agricultural connectivity and efficiency means what? Basically, agriculture should not be isolated. It should be linked to food processing organization. It should be linked to other processing organization. It should be linked to other corporates, other industries which can process mangoes being converted into, let's say, squashes, food, juices, drinks, etc. So when this connectivity of agriculture is there with this, the farmer will also get the benefit. If there is no connectivity, then what happens? The middleman gets involved. Then the middleman is, there are multiple middlemen, and then one middleman will reach it out to the industry. So it does not help the farmer as such. So we need to follow the principle from farm to plate. From farm to plate, everything should be in sync. Okay? So that is enhanced agricultural connectivity and efficiency. If there is direct connection, middlemen and all will reduce, and the system will be efficient. The benefits will accrue to the farmers, and the customer can also get it at cheap, is what they are trying to say over here. Key discussion in this dialogue, what all discussions actually took place. First, shift in development paradigm means whatever development we were focusing on, now that needs to change. Till now the focus has been increase the production, increase the productivity. Fair enough, you have to do that. But after it is produced, what do? You have to improve the supply chain. You have to lower the wastages. You have to increase the value in the things that you have already produced. Clear? So, emphasis on moving beyond agricultural production. That is what it means. Just don't focus on production only. After production, post-harvest losses, reduce that. After production, processing, increase that, which will add the value. A simple example, in my GDP chapter, I have told you that let's say a country produces only wheat. A country produces only wheat. 1 kg of wheat is produced, cost 50 rupees. If there is no further processing of this wheat, what happens? GDP is 50. But you process it, convert it into flour, GDP increases. Convert it into bread. So processing basically helps to add value to the GDP. More efficiency in the system, GDP increases, per capita income increases, processing is happening, employment will increase. It is all positive over here. Okay? So that is why the idea, greater focus on food processing, logistics, value addition, which I have already told. Rationales are these sectors were identified. Rationale is basically what? It will benefit other sectors as well. It will benefit the farmers as well. It will benefit producer as well. It will benefit economy as well. You can link the benefits to anything that is your mains related aspect. Okay? This entire page is basically mains related aspect. Prelims related aspect is that you should know that they are shifting. There will be a shift in development paradigm. Previously focus was on production. Now the focus will be on this. Okay? If UPSC gives you a question and asks you the other way around, you should be able to identify that. Okay? Next, addressing the post-harvest losses. So post-harvest losses in South Asia exceeds 30%, specifically in fruits and vegetables. Now fruits and vegetables are also more costly. Okay? They are more costly. You are wasting. India's wastage is around 17%, 17-18%. In certain countries 30% is also getting exceeded. Ours is around 17%, which is still high. So imagine a situation, our agriculture is growing, the core agriculture. I am not talking about the allied sector, fisheries and livestock. Fisheries and livestock are growing at a higher pace. This year's budget, if you look at fisheries 9% and all that, agriculture 4% and round about that only. Now imagine that if tomorrow, if this year or next year, we have zero wastages, what will happen? The production of, if our wastage is 17% this year, next year we make it zero, the production of food, the fruits and vegetables will increase by more than 17%. The usual yearly increase plus the increase in this, not the production but the supply will increase by this. When the supply increases, prices will fall. It will be cheaper, it will be more, it will be easier to get nutrition and stuff like that. So wastage is a big issue. It is not that considerable in rice and wheat because that can be easily stored, it can be stored for a longer time. Important here is also the shelf life. Shelf life is very low. You have a banana which is almost ripe, which is edible, some raw bananas are also there, but in the market, the vendor who has the banana, if the vendor is not able to sell it for 3 days, it is going to get spoiled. Okay? So wastages are actually high in this case. Solution, strengthening the farm to factory integration, farm to factory transfer. If it is being given to the last end user directly as a fruit, then farm to plate. If it is being given to the industry to process, then farm to factory. That should happen immediately. Okay? That should happen immediately. Expanding the cold chain infrastructure, as I told, vegetables, fruits, they require cold chain storages. Promoting smart packaging solutions. Smart packaging solution as in, when you are storing, let's say, certain fruits, you have to create a vacuum and wrap it with polythene as a vacuum. If you let, basically, why do they spoil? This is a bit of science and tech that I am telling you. They spoil because of a process known as oxidation. Presence of air has presence of oxygen. They will oxidize. So that is why you wrap it up, whatever the air is there, suck it out, create a vacuum. So there is no oxygen. There will be no oxidation. It can be preserved for a longer duration. Right? So that is the idea of it. Expected benefit, reduce wastage, improve supply chain, better value realization, all those benefits we know about. Okay, food processing in India, key findings. Report released, which the name of the report is Assessment of the Level of Food Processing in India. This some data I have added over here to tell you that in India, our food processing has reached around 17%. That means around 17% of the food is actually getting processed, which is still quite less as compared to the other countries, the European countries. Okay. Now, that does not also mean that you completely process it up to 90 and 100%. That much is not required, but processing to a higher degree is required. There has been an improvement. How much is the percentage improvement from 2016 to 2023? 70%. Increase in is 70%. You had 10 rupees, now you have 17 rupees. 70% increase in the money that you have, right? So please keep that in mind. Untapped potential is there in fruits, vegetables, dairy products. Okay, it is essential for doubling farmers' income. I have already mentioned that. Enhancing the export potential. If the production increases, it can satisfy the domestic demand. It can also cater to the global demand as well. Okay, and of course, it will contribute to the economy. Fair enough. Surely. Next, Bhavya portal for Bharat Audyogik Vikas Yojana. Yes, any doubts? Bharat Audyogik Vikas Yojana. Bharat, India, Audyogik, Industrial Vikas, Development Yojana is a scheme. Okay. Who has launched it? Launched by the Union Minister of Commerce and Industry. It is basically a scheme of Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Scheme or a platform, whatever you say. Purpose is to support the implementation of Bharat Audyogik Vikas Yojana. So this Bhavya is a platform. For what? For implementing Bhavya, which is Bharat Audyogik Vikas Yojana. To implement this Yojana, we have this platform. This platform is basically going to act as a one single window or one single platform for all the schemes and everything related to the industrial sector. You don't have to go multiple places, right? One stop solution for everything. All the scheme related to the industries will be mentioned over there. You can supply, you can subscribe, you can get those schemes via that single portal, that is the Bhavya portal. That is the idea. Okay. So, act as a single digital interface for end-to-end scheme implementation. Single digital interface for the implementation of the scheme. Because there is a portal, there will be real-time monitoring and tracking. Any portal, eNAM, E-National Agriculture Market, real-time monitoring will also happen. Okay. You can register as a buyer, you can register as a seller, plus the government can also monitor the rates of the different mandis. Same is the case over here. Next. So about the scheme, they are asking, it is a flagship industrial infrastructure program. Objective, this is important, this can be asked. A big number, a usual general number, you know, aspirational district, 100 aspirational districts are there for certain schemes. In the same manner, develop 100 investment ready world class industrial parks. They have named it as plug and play. Plug and play industrial parks. What is the meaning of plug and play? Very good. Basically, plug and play offices. Means the office setup is ready. Anyone, any company wants to take it, they can simply start working from today. It's plug and play. So like this, they want to create plug and play industrial parks. Industry wants to set up, it's ready. Come and set up today itself. That is what plug and play is. Okay. That's the idea. So 100 number of such will be created. How much is the fund approved? 33,660 crore. Development of 100 plug and play industrial parks. Implementation period is of 6 years. Implementation agency is important. National Industrial Corridor Development Corporation, NICDC. See, these things you have to remember. Why I say is because whenever you study World Bank, it's easy to remember. Ministry, it's easy to remember. It is these organizations which are difficult to remember. And if you look at the last couple of years of paper, these organizations are also being asked that this program is implemented under this the ambit of this organization or that organization. So specifically remember these organizations. If you just remember it, so you will know that you have heard this organization somewhere. The mind should just trigger that I have heard it. Then the mind will automatically get you the information whether you heard it under this scheme or some other scheme. So at least emphasize initially कि boss, this is what it is. ठीक है? Next, competitive selection and center state partnership. So the state and union territories, they will submit the project proposals. See why this competition kind of thing is happening? Because there are 100. So generally the center does follow a situation wherein at least one from each state will be there. But then how much for how many states, all those things are there. That is why the state and the union territories will submit their proposal. It will be based on the industrial strength of that state, of that proposal which they have sent, the land availability, right? The investor interest. Okay. Land availability, this land availability will be provided by the state government. State government will provide the land for this project. Do you remember any other scheme where the state government provides the land? Yes? I guess I remember it. Yes, in economy you would have studied. In this special economic zones that are there. Special economic zones. No, not that's not the name. The manufacturing zone, NIMS. The manufacturing zones that are there. National Industrial and Manufacturing Zones. For that 500 hectares of place is needed, out of which 30% area will be dedicated for manufacturing alone. That 500 hectares needs to be provided by the state government. When the state government provides that, the central government, so let's say the state government provides this area, the central government will provide the development of the adjacent areas and the connectivity and the dedicated freight corridors and the expressways and all will be developed by the central government around it. But this area has to be provided by the state government. So here also for those parks, area has to be provided, land has to be provided by the state government. Okay, it is under the state government. Land is a subject under the state government. We have seen this. We needed land from West Bengal government to fence the border. We have international border. The previous government was delaying the transfer of land. Now the government changed. The very first thing that it did is transfer the land for the fencing project. Okay, so land is the state subject. State will provide. Investor interest, sectoral potential, infrastructure readiness, all these things the state government will provide, and based on that the central government will decide where we have to basically go ahead with it. So center state partnership model, land to be provided by state government as I mentioned, infrastructure support will be done through that body which I have already mentioned, NICDC. Okay? This is some details. Okay, we have already seen this. Sure. Now the park size, industrial park size, from 25 hectares in hilly region, northeastern states and smaller union territories to nearly 1000 hectares near cities and towns. So this is basically the range. ठीक है. So how can the question, every time you read these facts, think how the question can be framed. The question can be framed that the park size would be up to 25 hectares, up to 25 acres. No, that is just the starting point for this. It can go up to 1000 acres as well. ठीक है. So plug and play infrastructure means assured water supply, reliable power, road and rail connectivity, clear land titles, digital single window clearance, air connectivity wherever it is feasible, connectivity to the airports, roadways, this, that, that is what is providing. What is provided. So remember, the industrial park is not limited to the availability of the functioning within the building, but also outside it the infrastructure should be there. It cannot happen that you have created an industry and there is no road only. Okay? So that is also provided over here. Testing facility. So for testing with respect to the quality, everything, remember the organizations involved: Bureau of Indian Standard, Export Inspection Agency, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. So FSSAI will be involved when it is related to the agricultural products, the edible products, the food products. Then you have basically your electronic items, this, that, safety items related to that. BIS will also be involved, Bureau of Indian Standards will be involved, and Export Inspection Agency, because export related goods will also be manufactured over there, right? So these agencies are important. Significance of Bhavya. Now this is mains related content. After knowing the provisions, you should be able to tell what benefits can come. Okay? Which is very generic. Boost the manufacturing growth, attract domestic investment, attract foreign investment, generate employment opportunities directly, indirectly, improve the ease of doing business, right? And one thing you can stick everywhere: Vikasit Bharat, right? Vikasit Bharat, or Atmanirbharta in this, Atmanirbharta in that. So those things you should use in your mains answer. Okay? It is not specifically mentioned, you can use it in your mains answer. Next, sustainability bonds. Yes, yes, Faisal, what are bonds? Okay, it is basically a debt instrument, an instrument which is used to borrow or lend money, basically to borrow money, right? And it is a debt instrument, means when you take money, you will have to pay it back. That is what bonds are. Bonds are very simple instrument to the extent that whatever the name, let's say you hear the name green bonds. Green bonds are those bonds that will invest in green projects, environmentally sustainable projects. You will have a social bond. Social bonds are those bonds which will invest in socially acceptable, positive social impact related projects. Then you can have municipal bonds. Municipal bonds will be those bonds that are issued by municipal corporation. Then you have sovereign bonds. Sovereign bonds are those bonds that will be issued by the government of India. Sovereign means you are not bound by anyone, you are your own sovereign. A country is a sovereign, so you talk about the government of that country. So sovereign bonds will be bonds issued by the government of India. That is a sovereign bond. Now, when a bond is a sovereign bond, it is said to be sovereign because it can be issued by government of India. Is there any other restriction? No. The government of India can issue bond just to take out liquidity from the market, or to borrow money from the market, or use that bonds money for any kind of project. Infrastructure project, green project, black project, grey project, whatever. It can be polluting project also, nothing doing. It has no relation with respect to sustainability, green or anything. It only says that government of India is issuing it. It only says that municipal corporation is issuing it. This says that it has to be a green project. This says that it has to be a social project. So the question is, a bond whose proceeds go for environment as well as social project, that bond is known as what? Sovereign bond, green bond, social bond, or sustainability bond? Sustainability bond. Even if you don't know, how do you get the answer? Sovereign bond is by the government no matter where it is invested. Green bond is for environmental projects only. Social bond is for societal projects only. What is remaining? Nothing but the truth, that is sustainability bond. That was the UPSC question. Okay? So sustainability bonds, they are financial instruments whose proceeds are exclusively used for finance or refinance the combination of green project, or social project as well. Okay. There is also a concept, since we are on this topic, there is also a concept of sustainability linked bonds. Sustainability linked bonds, what will this be? The amount of return you will get will be linked to the amount of impact that it creates on the sustainability. Okay, so it's a sustainability bond which wants to lower the carbon emission with respect to this much percentages, how much it was able to lower, so your prices and all those things would be linked to it. But it is also at the end of the day a type of sustainability bond only. Okay, it will implement projects in the sustainability sector, environment and social both, a combination of both. Okay. Yes, this is done. Dual impact of sustainability bond. Why? Because hybrid financing instrument. Why? Because environmental objectives plus social objectives. Now remember here, first of all, if you look at it, these are not two separate things. If you are working for environment, you can say you are working for the society as well. Okay? So that is there. So that is why it may have a lot of overlap. For example, renewable energy projects. Now renewable energy projects lowers the carbon footprint, saves the energy as well, which is non-renewable. It saves the non-renewable energy, lowers the carbon footprint, but plus also it is going to provide certain things to the people as well, provide energy security to the people as well. Plus you have in social, if you look at core social thing, so healthcare, you are building hospitals for example, that is pure social. Right, if you are having a project of sequestering carbon, capturing carbon and sequestering it, capturing carbon from the atmosphere and putting it inside the earth, that is a core environment project. Developing a hospital, a core social project. The proceeds from sustainability bonds can be used for either of them. Okay? It's a hybrid basically of social and environment. Global and domestic regulatory framework. So more interested we should be in the domestic framework. Domestic framework is given by SEBI, that is Securities and Exchange Board of India. SEBI regulates the bond market. SEBI allows who can issue bond, approves who can issue bond, who cannot issue bond, that is approved by SEBI. Is that clear? Okay. Remember in banking we talk about statutory liquidity ratio, minimum amount of money that the scheduled commercial bank are required to keep with themselves in the form of cash, gold or approved securities. Now what are those approved securities is RBI telling. Let's say RBI says L&T's bond is an approved security, but who allowed L&T to issue bond? SEBI allowed L&T to issue the bond. Is that clear? So allowance is given by SEBI. This is the player in the bond market. Okay. Yes, Prabhudev, any doubts? No. So yes, so bond types and their primary objectives. I have already told you, green bonds, environmental, specifically green projects, social bonds, social outcome specific social projects, healthcare, geriatric care, care for the elderly, care for the children, care for the females, for example, etc., etc. Education maybe, educational trust, etc., whatever that is. Sustainability bonds, environmental plus social, mix of green and social projects. Sustainability linked bonds, sustainability performance targets will be there in this. That is important. It is also a type of sustainability bond, but it will be linked to the performance with respect to sustainability. Okay, Faisal, is that clear? Do not understand this? Sustainability bond is clear. Sustainability bond is what? A bond which invests the money in project which helps environment and the society. Right, so let's say that is what the bond is. So in that what will happen? I will assure you a return. Let's say 6% is the return that you are getting. In sustainability linked bond, what will happen is the money will again be used for environment and social issue related thing only. But how much money you will get will be linked to the social and environmental impact that it has. Is that clear? So for example, I teach you, I get a salary. My salary can also be linked to how much marks you score. Yes, so there will be a slight fluctuation in that. Okay? हाँ, the entire amount of, नहीं, there will be some fixed amount plus a variable amount, because then you need to also attract the people, right? You need to attract the people, so fixed plus variable. Like you have your salary in the sales department, fixed plus the variable. So fixed amount, this is assured because you are investing money, but if it does well, this is the variable you can have, which can be on the higher side or on the lower side. Okay. Next, 114th International Labour Conference. So as I said, Labour Conference, where was it held? Geneva. Where is Geneva? Switzerland. Yes, it was under the aegis of ILO, International Labour Organization. Okay. The Indian delegation was led by the Union Minister of State for Labour and Employment. Okay. So what did India showcase? I have already told you. We went there and told about the labour reforms through the 4 labour codes. We had a total of 29 different labour laws that has been consolidated into 4 labour codes. That's a separate current affairs. We have covered it previously. Please read that. Okay. That is what we presented over there. No, name of the minister they will not ask. That's why I have not included deliberately. Name and all they will not ask. Name and all generally they ask in this banking kind of paper, SSC maybe they ask. In one of the, I think SSC paper it was, they asked DJ wale babu mera gana baja do, who wrote this, who sang this song, I think itself they asked. They have asked that. Who sang that? Huh? Acha, whoever. No, the male version. That now, what is his name? What is his name, man? Yes, online students, any one of you remember? Ha, Badshah, that's the answer. See, you will do well in SSC exam. That is the question they are asking. And I hope you are not thinking that I am joking, huh? That is actually there is what they are asking. In UPSC, they don't generally ask that. They don't ask. Okay? And I hope they don't ask also this thing. Anyway, yeah, so this is what the key highlights. Let me just, yes. Consolidation of 29 central labour laws into 4 labour codes. Okay? Guided by the principle of Antayodhya. See, these things should be included in your answer writing. Remember, you have to remember these things. Antyodhya, upliftment of the weakest. Remember Antyodhya, Anna Yojana, the poorest of the poor, the weakest people, uplifting the weakest people who are there. It talked about employability of India increasing. You know, there is a different way to look at it actually. Few months back, World Economic Forum report said that 49% of Indian youth is unemployable, which is a huge number. But if you want to showcase the same thing positively, no, you can showcase the same thing positive or negative. You can say youth employability improved from 34% to 56%. If you want to showcase it in a negative way, you can also say that still 44% of the Indian youth is unemployable. Okay? This will be a right-wing YouTube channel, this will be a left-wing YouTube channel. Okay? In favor of the government, and this will be against the government. The fact is same. The concept is same or the percentage is same, but how you present it. Why I am telling you that is because in the answer writing you might find that positive points you have, but you are falling short on negative points. Then you might write this. You have negative points, but you are falling short on positive points. Then you write this. So the same thing you can write in different manner. I have given in one of the class example about Human Development Index, India being 138th. You want to write it negatively, India is still 138th out of 193 countries. You want to write it positively, India has improved from 134 to 138th rank. Okay? That's how you use it. Unemployment rate, yes, this has improved. Unemployment rate from 6% has gone down to 3.1%. That is a considerable improvement. There's no doubt about that. Women's labor force participation has definitely increased as well. In fact, what is happening is there is feminization of agriculture that is happening. The workforce of females in agriculture domain is increasing considerably because rural to urban male adult is migrating, leaving behind the females, leading to more participation of females in the agriculture sector. So feminization of agriculture, right? Social security expansion and digital public What is this? Digital public infrastructure. Yes. So the coverage of social security has increased from 19% to 64%. That means people covered under Provident Fund, under the National Pension Scheme, the new pension scheme, all these are what? All these are social security. So social security penetration has increased, covers approximately 100 crore people, 1 billion, 100 crore people. Digital public infrastructure, ठीक है, e-shram portal is there. What is this e-shram portal? The job seeker can be connected to the job giver. That is the e-shram portal. So like you have the Naukri portal, you want job in the private sector, Naukri portal. You want job in the government sector, e-shram portal. But now the industries are also linked. So various industries, you can see the jobs availability over here. Yes, these are the 4 codes which you should know. The code on wages, the code on social security, the industrial relations code, the occupation safety, health and working conditions code. So all the labor laws have been consolidated only on these 4. One is related to wages, one social security, one industrial relation, one on safety, health and environment. Clear? Yes. So this PDF will also be available. Now the trade union concept and all that comes under this. Minimum wages and all comes under this. The pension and all will come under this. This is the safety security of the labor of the people who are working, the condition in which they are working, the scenario in which they are working comes in this. Okay? Yes. Now international labor mobility. Now whole of government approach linking. Now this is what is this international labor mobility? Also what was discussed was the mobility of the people from one country to another, which the government of India has been asking since decades. Why that is important is so that our people can also get job elsewhere. That is also very important. But now there is deglobalization, countries are inward looking, countries are restricting themselves, so it is becoming difficult. Right, that is the idea. But still we do mention that at an international forum, the international labor mobility. India is in favor of international labor mobility, so that more and more of Indian labor can go abroad and get the jobs. Okay? Anyhow, the white collar jobs people are getting, a huge amount of Indians are working for the software companies, are becoming doctors, this, that is there. But in addition to that, labors, etc., contractual labors, that is also there. So if you go into the Middle East countries, we have our diaspora, yes. But if you, I'll tell you a very important thing here. In USA, we have Indian diaspora. In West Asia, we have Indian diaspora. The diaspora means the number of people, Indians in USA is less than the number of people we have in West Asia, right? But the amount of remittances that they are sending last year from USA was more than from West Asia. Why that is happening is, here purely white collar software engineers, this, that, earning lakhs of rupees. In West Asia also some of them are engineers and all in civil engineering sector, but laborers, contractors, supervisors who are the front workers are also there over here, right? So that is why number might be more, but the total amount of money has now become second and more coming from USA now. Okay? This is the idea of it. Okay? So what else? Domestic skilling and global employment opportunities. Yes. So we have to, we are looking for, of course, Skill India mission, but we also have to take care of skilling with respect to the global opportunities that are there. So opportunities in which sector is there, in which country, and with which country we have the agreement so that they will allow our labors over there. So with respect to that, our skilling should also be targeted. Not just the domestic market, but the international market as well. That is the idea over here. Yes. Yes, sorry. Yes. Now, the idea over here is the workforce vulnerability in India is still existing even after those consolidation of the labor codes and the labor law. One of the reasons that article discussed is with respect to the gig workers. The gig workers are still in the gray area. However, the government has tried to provide certain benefits to the gig workers, right? For example, they can also now register on the Provident Fund portal. For their, right now the gig worker is who's working on a project basis, part time, project wise work. Now remember, some of the gig workers can earn handsomely as well. I might as well work part-time and evaluate papers for UPSC aspirants for various organizations and earn handsomely in lakhs a month. That is fine, but that is very less. Majority of the workers are doing what? Laborious work. Delivery people, for example. Now the amount of money they get is very less. There is no amount of minimum payment. Of course, the counter argument that even Dipendra Goyal, basically the Zomato founder, gave is that they can work whenever they want. It is their choice, and also it is very difficult to set a minimum wage because it is dependent on the amount that you are working for. That is fair enough. But at times, even if you are working more, then still you may not earn more. Right? The delivery charges, this charges also is dependent upon the demand in that particular area. So a lot of concerns are still remaining with respect to these kind of gig workers, which are majority in number. Okay? There can be a gig worker who's a CA also. He is going to do accounting for your organization, not on your payroll, but may earn more. We are not talking about that gig worker who is having a problem. The problem is faced by these manual laborers, manual workers, specifically the delivery people who are there, who are basically gig workers. Okay? Now you also have maids who are there on Urban Company, on Snapbit and all that. Maids are also there. Okay? So let's see what happens with respect to them as well. So these are gig workers. They are not classified as standard employees, as a result of which they are excluded from the relation code, from the occupation safety, health and working condition code. The delivery boy, the delivery girl, the delivery person is not sitting inside the office of Zomato and Swiggy. Is outside only, doing work outside, is not captured under here. Okay? Is not captured under the industrial code. There is no industrial code which captures the gig workers trade union. Okay? So these are still the things, vacuums that are remaining. Platform economy challenge that they have. As I said, algorithm based ratings. Algorithm, they come, they ask you to, sir, please, sir, ma'am, please rate us because our money will be dependent on that. Okay? So, and we hardly rate. So this is the idea. Lack of grievance redressal mechanism, this is also not present with them. Okay? Labor market concerns, okay. Threshold for prior approval and layoff. This is one important thing. Previously, if you are basically removing, any company removing more than 100 people was considered as a layoff. Now that threshold has increased to 300. Now how does it make a difference? It makes a difference because according to the labor code, the recent labor code, if the company is doing layoff, your agreement would be of notice period, so you have a 2 months notice period. The company wants to remove it, you right now, some companies, you may have a 2 months notice period, but the company may ask you to leave right now and they will give you 2 months of compensation. Okay? And some companies will keep you for the next 2 months, make you work and of course give you the 2 months compensation. Right? Why some companies remove you right now? For example, generally in the sales domain, if you are a manager in sales and you are being removed today, you will be asked to leave immediately. Why? Because your access needs to be taken away right away. You have the access to leads, to clients, etc. You can distort the clients. You can take the clients with you. There's a lot of issue that can happen. So you might be removed, but fair enough. This 2 months notice period means they have to give you notice period of 2 months. If they are not giving, they will give you 2 months of money, salary. If they are keeping you for 2 months, making you work, they will give you 2 months of salary. The code says that if it is a layoff, then in addition to this 2 months, 15 days of additional salary needs to be given in order for the person to upskill them, reskill them, upgrade their thing and suffice for their upkeep for the time for which they will not find the job. So that 15 days extra. That only if it is a layoff. So now that threshold has increased to 300, so it will be less number of layoff will happen. So not all of the people are going to get this money. Okay? Yes. Challenges: limited applicability of OSH, which we have already seen. Inconsistent welfare delivery despite e-Shram registration. Yes, I'll explain this one. In last year's budget, the government has allowed the gig workers to register themselves on the e-Shram portal. But just by registering this, the welfare and all is automatically not accruing to them. Because see what happens, even if you talk about a provident fund, a provident fund works, how does it work? It works, let's say I have a permanent job, let's say, what do you call this? Provident fund amount gets deducted. Every month it gets deducted, it gets accumulated, the government of India pays 8.3% of interest on that. Right? Now, if I am a gig worker, I have a job today, I don't have a job tomorrow. Every month it's not going to go in there. Also, what happens if 6 months, more than 6 months, you are out of job, your account stops to earn the interest. Okay? So, the person whose job is more inconsistent is the one who is getting hampered. Right? Because if it's dormant for 6 months, you are not going to get it. So, these kind of challenges are still there. Along with it, rising cost of living is also there, especially on the migrant workers as well. Yes, the last one, credit guarantee scheme for microfinance institutions. Microfinance institution does exactly the same work as other financial institutions do. Only difference is they provide micro loans, means small loans, that is it. Okay? So this is a credit guarantee scheme. So this scheme, which already existed, has been extended till 31st August 2026 or till 20,000 crore worth rupees of credit guarantee is issued, whichever is first. So if by tomorrow they finish issuing credit guarantee up to 20,000 crore rupees, it will end there. If not, it will last till 31st of August. That is the idea. A recent changes that they have done is maximum loan limit for large NBFC microfinance institution has been increased from 300 crore to 1,000 crore. This is important. NBFC loans first go to NBFC, from NBFC it will go to the people who want the loans. Okay? So it is acting as a refinancing agency. So previously it can give up to 300 crore, now it can give to a particular NBFC equal to 1,000 crore. So if they give to 20 NBFC, they can actually finish it off. Okay? This any other fact in this? There are some more facts in this. Yes. Introduced in March 2026. So basically it's around what 4 months of period. Government bank credit guarantee. Of course, government bank means the government of India basically is paying the money. It's coming from the revenue of the government. Yes. Provides guarantee coverage to member lending institution. They do not give the loan directly. They provide the guarantee coverage. Like you take a loan, you become a guarantor. Any doubts? No. Okay. Credit flow mechanism, as I have said, the lending in institutions will give it to the NBFCs and the NBFC will then give it to the eligible borrowers who are there. So that is why this acts as a refinancing agency. Yes. Classification of these agencies. So small microfinance institutions, medium and large. How are they classified? Less than 500 crore, 500 to 2,000, 2,000 or more. This is important. This has no correlation with the size of the MSME. That is different. MSME classification is different. This is the microfinance classification, small, medium and large. Okay? This AUM, basically this is the total capital criteria, the total money that is going to be given, the total money that they can give is the criteria that they have. So if they are giving, basically this MFI is going to give to NBFC. So up to the small MFI can give up to less than 500 crore. Right? If it is more than 500, less than 2,000, it becomes medium and then it becomes large. Okay. Next, yes, differentiated coverage. Now what is this differentiated coverage? This scheme provides, we have seen the classification, small, medium and large. So small ones guarantee is covering different percentage, medium is different percentage, large is different percentage. That means whenever a loan is given through this, 80% of it is covered. Whenever a loan is given as a medium one, 75%, as a large one, 70%. Yes, these two tables are important. 80% of the amount. Yes, yes, yes. So basically, if the loan amount is, let's say 25 lakh, 80% of that 25 lakh is guaranteed. Okay, if this person does not give, I guarantee 80% of it. Right? and in the medium 75% of it is guaranteed. In the large 70% of it is guaranteed. So these two tables are very important. You can also create the three tables together. You write the category. So you write here up to 500 crore rupees is the credit that you give. 500 crore to 2000 crore is the credit that you give, and here greater than 2000 crore is the credit that you give, and the coverage also you mention it over here. So this becomes your one single table. I think this is a better way to remember it. Yes. That is why only 70% is secured. Correct, absolutely. Okay. And at a lower level, you are also securing more because they will also need more coverage to be secured. Okay. So this is how you should draw this table. All things at one place. That is more than enough in this particular news. Loan condition, disbursement within 3 months. So if you apply, if your loan gets approved, after the approval, disbursements when you will receive the money. Maximum tenure 3 years, includes 1 year moratorium. Moratorium means for the first 1 year you don't have to pay the EMI. Generally you have the entire thing, entire EMI. See, let's say education loan, you are not required to pay the interest also on the education loan. In some of them you may be required, but here moratorium period is with respect to the EMI. Okay? So moratorium period, the concept, if you don't know, is the period for which you are not required to repay the loan is the moratorium period basically, and generally whenever it is done for development purposes, it is the entire EMI, okay? Not just the interest. Yes. Funds must be used exclusively for incremental lending and eligible microfinance borrowers. Okay, so there will be eligible now approval mechanism, automatic approval through the National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company Limited. So please remember this name. So only approved organizations, institutions will get. Who will approve them? This is the organization that will approve them. So this again becomes an important point. Write down National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company. Okay, any questions guys with respect to what we have done? Yes? No? So let's solve the questions then. With reference to sapling dialogue 26, consider the following statements. Sapling is led by the World Bank. Yes, so this is gone. The dialogue emphasized moving beyond agricultural production towards food processing and value addition. That is yes. So this is also gone. India's food processing level increased from 10% to nearly 27%. This is too factual, but this is incorrect. Correct answer is A. It went to around 17%, right? See, now you will remember, Arey sir told me the increase is 70%. So even if you forget that number, there will be some memory in your head which can help you answer the question. Next, which one of the following correctly describes the Bhavya portal? Digital platform for monitoring agricultural value chains across India. Single digital, which is the longest sentence? Clear? That's the right sentence. Single digital interface for implementation, appraisal and evaluation of monitoring Bharat Audyogik Vikas Yojana. And you may think this is easy, but these easy questions are also asked. They have also asked Basel norms are related to what? They have talked about environment, banks, this, that. Basel norms are related to bank. That is the question that has been asked in UPSC. The term Antyodaya highlighted by India at the 114th International Labour Conference refers to uplifting the weakest sections of the society. This is easy. Chalo, theek hai. Which of the following best distinguishes sustainability bonds from sustainability linked bonds? Sustainability bonds finance only environmental projects. Incorrect. Sustainability bonds are issued by government, whereas SLBs are issued by private companies. Incorrect. Sustainability, which is the longest? Yeah, sustainability bonds finance specified green and social projects, whereas SLBs are linked to sustainability performance targets. Yes, this is the right one. Okay. Next, with reference to the credit guarantee scheme for microfinance institutions, consider the following. It provides guarantee coverage to member lending institutions for loans extended to NBFCs. Yes, that's correct. Under the scheme, small MFIs receive a higher guarantee coverage than the large MFIs. Yes. The scheme operates through an automatic approval mechanism at the National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company Limited. Yes. So this name becomes important, or else this name will not let you answer the question. this can definitely be asked. Okay, so that is about it for today, guys. Please read the reader that is being provided to you, है ना? If you do that right away after going home, it will help. ठीक है? Thank you. Sorry? हाँ हाँ हाँ